All right, welcome. This should be the August 26th music appreciation video. Okay, August 26th music appreciation video. Okay, we're gonna do a little reviewing today, and I mean mainly it's a review day. Okay, just going over the homework we had for last night, and going over chart 3.5. Okay, should be maybe 1.5 videos. We'll see. Okay, so remember. August 26th, music appreciation. Okay, so get out your homework from last night. Okay, it should have been note naming worksheet number 6. Okay, note naming worksheet number 6. All right, and I'm not going to put out the treble clef sheet. Okay, if you want to get the treble clef sheet out, you can. I'm not going to put it up because hopefully by now you know what these notes are. If you're still using the treble clef sheet, that's fine. But you know, whatever you got going on, whatever is what you got going on. Okay, this Friday for the test. I will let you use a treble clef sheet if you need to. Okay, for the test this Friday, I will let you use a treble clef sheet if you need to. Okay, if you don't need it, then that's better. Okay, so let's go over the homework for last night. So if you don't have that treble clef sheet out or the note naming worksheet number 6 out, get it out. Okay, and I'm just going to real quickly just go over the answers and see what you got. Okay. All right. So first line. First line, you should have had G, G, E, A, C, B. Okay? Let me say that again. G, G, E, A, C, B. All right, second line, you should have had B, A, D, B, G, G. All right? Third line, you should have had D, E, A, C, E, D. All right, fourth line, you should have had G, F, G, G, F, C. And the last line, you should have had F, G, A, E, B, E. Okay? If you didn't get none of those right, then you need to work on it. If you got them all correct, good job for you. Okay? All right. So let's move on to the next part of your homework, okay? So chart 3. All right, so get out chart 3. You're supposed to do 4 through 7, lines 4 through 7. Okay, see 4 through 7. And I'm just going to real quick tell you what you should have wrote. I'm not going to write every single one down, but I will go through them. And you should write everything. You should have everything written that I'm fixing to tell you, okay? So chart 3, number 4. If you don't have it out, pause the video, get it out, okay? Chart 3, number 4. All right. Like I said, today is just going to be a review day. And, I mean, and kind of adding, it's actually a review day mixed in with, like, everything we've done so far, like with quarter notes, quarter rests, half rests, whole notes, okay? And that's what chart 3.5 is going to go over, okay? So, chart 3 should be on chart 3, number 4, okay? Number 4, first measure. You should have had a big 1, a big 2, a big 3, and a little 4. Okay. Big 1 on the first. Let me start that over. Okay. So number 4, you should have had a big 1 on the first quarter note, a big 2 on the second quarter note, a big 3, and a little 4 on the half note in the first measure. Okay. So let me say that again. Big 1 on the first quarter note, big 2 on the second quarter note, big 3, little 4 on the half note. All right, next measure. Starts off with a half note. So you should have had big 1, little 2, and then big 3 on the first quarter note and big 4 on the last quarter note, okay? Then 15, you should have had exactly the same thing as the 13, okay? Whereas big 1 on the first quarter note, big 2 on the second quarter note, big 3, little 4 on the half note. And then the last measure in that one should have been the same as the measure 14. So where you got big 1, little 2, big 3, little 4. Okay. All right. Number 5. Number 5. All right. Pretty easy, I think. Okay. So you should have had big 1 on the quarter note, big 2, little 3 on the half note, and then big 4 on the last quarter note in that measure. All right. And then the second measure of 5, you had a whole note. A whole note. You should have had a big 1, a little 2, a little 3, a little 4. Okay? because a whole note gets all 4 beats. Correct? Whole notes get all 4 beats. Okay? 19 and 20 should be exactly the same as 17 and 18. Okay? So I'm not going to redo those. Okay? So I'll say it one more time. So on the first measure should have been big 1, big 2, little 3 on the half note, and big 4 on the last quarter note, and then big 1, little 2, little 3, little 4 on the whole note. Okay? Let's move on to number 6. Okay? Number 6, first measure, you should have a big 1, a big 2, a big 3, a big 4. Okay? Because you got 4 quarter notes, so each quarter note gets its own number. The second measure, on the half note, you should have a big 1, little 2, and then big 3, little, and big 3 on the quarter note, and a big 4 on the next quarter note. Okay? 23, the measure 23, or the third measure of number 6, you should have had a big 1, followed by a big 2, little 3 on the half note, followed by a big 4 on that quarter note. And then lastly, you should have a big 1, little 2, little 3, little 4. Okay? Number 7 starts off with a whole note, so it gets the first measure should have been big 1, little 2, little 3, little 4. All right, and then you get a big 1 on that first quarter note, a big 2 on the second quarter note, and a big 3, little 4 on the half note of measure 2 of number 7. All right, measure 3 of number 7 should have been a big 1, a big 2, a big 3, a big 4, followed by measure 28, or the last measure of number 7, a big 1, little 2 on the first half note, and a big 3, little 4 on the last half note. Okay? If you need any of those answers repeated, just go back to wherever I started saying the answers. Okay? I'm trying to make these videos a little bit shorter for me and for you. Okay? So if you need the answers repeated, just go back and look. Okay? So those were the answers for chart 3. Okay? Now, on the back of chart 3, you're going to see what we're going to do new today, which ain't really new. It's just a combination of quarter notes, quarter rest, half notes, half rest, whole notes, and whole rest. Okay? So we got chart 3. Look at the back of chart 3. You're going to see chart 3.5. Okay? Chart 3.5. I want you to go ahead and try to do line number 1. Okay? Let's see. This is good. This is good practice for you and your test, because you have a test this week. Okay? So let's go ahead and try line number 1 while I write it on the board. All right. So hopefully you have this done by now. Okay? Pretty easy, I think. Okay? Like I said, this chart 3.5 is just a mixture of all quarter notes, quarter rest, half notes, half rest, and whole notes, and even some whole rest. Okay? So let's look. First measure, you got quarter note, quarter rest, quarter note. So automatically I know that each note is a quarter note type, so each note is, or each thing is going to get its own number. Okay? So what you should have written is big 1, big 2, little 3 with a dash, and big 4. Okay? My marker is starting to go out. All right. Second measure. We should have had, so we start off with 2 quarter notes, so we should have had a big 1, a big 2. That's better. All right, a big 1, a big 2, and then we have a half rest, so a little 3, a little 4 with dashes, okay? On the test, you've got to make sure you put those dashes, because that's how I know you know. That is how I know that you know that that half rest gets 2 numbers, and plus it means silence, okay? Look at the next measure. We got a half note followed by a quarter rest followed by a quarter note. All right, so you should have gotten big 1, little 2, little 3 with a dash, and 4. All right, and then lastly, we're followed by a whole note, so make sure to get big 1, little 2, little 3, little 4. Okay, easy peasy, right? I hope so. So, if I was to clap and count this, okay? I'm going to clap and count it. You can clap and count it with me, okay? Let's see if you can do it with me, okay? Make sure that this only gets one, this half rest only gets 1 clap miss, okay? Because it's a half rest, not 2 quarter rests, okay? So let's see if we can clap and count this together. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do notice on the whole note that I only clapped once because it only has 1 big number, okay? You understand? I hope you understand, okay? Because I'm going to move on. Let's do line number 2. All right, line number 2. Do line number 2 by yourself. All right, so line number 2, pretty easy, right? I hope so. I hope you thought it was easy just like I did. Okay, good. So let's start at the beginning. So we got 3 quarter notes. So we're gonna go big 1, big 2, big 3, followed by the quarter rest, so little 4 with a dash. All right, then we got the 2 half note measure, easy peasy, big 1, little 2, big 3, little 4. All right, then we have a half rest on beat 1 and 2 of that third measure, so we give it a little 1 dash, little 2 dash, but then followed by a half note, so big 3, little 4. All right, you with me? All right, so then we should have ended with a big 1, a little 2 dash, a little 3 dash, and a big 4. Okay, easy peasy, right? I hope so, because this is what the stuff on your test is going to look like. Okay. All right, so we're going to do one more on this one. Okay, we're going to do line number 3. Do line number 3. Now, if you notice that first measure, the hat is falling, or the box is on the top of on the bottom of a line. So when we see the box on the bottom of a line, that means it is a whole rest. Okay, so that means it gets 4 counts itself. Okay, so do it by yourself. Ready and go. All right, so easy peasy, right? So we're looking at number 3, line number 3. Okay, so we start off with a whole rest. Okay, you see how the box's face is on the bottom of a line. Okay, anytime the box is on the bottom of a line, okay, bottom of a line is whole rest. Top of line is a half rest. Okay, so this whole rest is going to get all 4 beats. So we give it a little 1, a little 2, a little 3, a little 4, all with dashes. Okay, and then we give the next measure a big 1, little 2, and then a big 3 and a big 4. Okay, big 1, little 2, big 3, big 4, because the half note comes first, followed by the 2 quarter notes. All right, third measure, we got a big, we got a little 1. Okay, because we got a quarter rest on beat 1, so a little 1 dash, big 2, and then big 3, little 4, and then we're going to end with a big 1, a little 2, a little 3, a little 4. All right, you understanding? I hope you're understanding. I hope you're understanding. Okay, so I don't feel like we're to that point of where it's super hard yet. Okay, so that's why tonight's homework. Okay, the first part of tonight's homework is going to be this chart 3.5. Okay, you're going to do 4 through 8 for homework. Okay, you're going to do 4 through 8 for homework. Okay, easy peasy, right? It's just a mixture of whole notes, quarter notes, half rest, half notes, okay, and quarter rest. I believe if you could do numbers 1, 2, 3 by yourself, you're able to do 4 through 8 by yourself, okay? So go ahead and do numbers 4 through 8 for homework, okay? That's your first part. And your last part is making sure you do note naming worksheet number 7, okay? And I'm sorry I have to keep on giving you these note naming things, okay? This is how I'm keeping up with your participation in class, and also whether or not you're attending class. Remember, you got to do this work, okay? If you don't do the work, then you don't get counted present for the class that day. So make sure you do the work, okay? That includes the bell ringer and the homework, okay? So do this homework, right? And then do chart 3.5. number 4 through 8, okay? And you will be set, all right? And I think this is only one video. Yay me. All right, bye-bye.